bottom it says hello, everyone. Welcome to Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. Woo! So we're here because it is the day that we talk tech in easy to understand terms. We've got my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, all the way from Sacramento. We've got Dr. Tachi in the house, and we are so excited. Our media specialist from Mediascope and from Indie TV, and we are excited. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're looking forward to hearing from TJ all the way from New York City. So we've been all around the continent, and we are getting ready to roll. We want to thank you for your time and your attention. With that, we're going to get started. Friend, what do you have for us today?
Well, we're going to talk about this week in tech history.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I might have a video instead. Let's see. Wow, that came in right on time, I think. Let me see if I can pull that up because it just popped in.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Now, you know, this whole present, share screen, and I need to bring the video up. I love how this stuff works. I wonder if we can drop that in. Okay, anyway, I'm just going to open it up here.
Let's roll it first.
Yeah, I need to.
I don't know how big that cat
Yeah,
is.
because I'm just going to go from here.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool.
Ready to geek out on some tech history? Dive into this week's game-changing moments. October 4th, 1957. Sputnik 1 blasted off, kickstarting the space age. This Soviet satellite didn't just orbit Earth, it set the stage for today's satellite tech. October 5th, 2011, we lost Steve Jobs. His genius reshaped personal computing, music, and mobile phones. Apple's world changed forever. October 3rd, 1995, the O.J. Simpson verdict. The internet went wild, marking one of its first major traffic surges. October 6, 1989, HP launched the first handheld scientific calculator. The HP 41 was a hit with engineers and scientists. And in today's tech scene, AI assistants like ChatGPT, Google Assistant, and Alexa are getting smarter. Foldable phones are bending the rules, and wearable health tech like the Apple Watch keeps getting better. Smart home devices, they're connecting our lives like never before. Stay tuned for more tech history next week.
Okay. And that's your week in tech history.
I love it, friend. That is
Very concise.
that is so cool.
Look, I had Charlie
Mm-hmm.
and then the other people who put everything together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, good. Well, I have a couple of stories that I want to share real quick, friend.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if I can get this one up. I want to talk about how to connect by satellite with your iPhone in the event of an emergency. And I found this little video. They have on USA Today Problem Solved. I like their little videos. So I'm going to share this one real quick. Let's see. Okay, and I take it you guys can see that. Let me go full screen with this. And I'm going to start the video.
somewhere that you can't contact anybody is a really scary thought. But if you have an iPhone, you can actually connect to a satellite to help you send a message to emergency services or your loved ones. Hold your phone as you normally would and stand somewhere outside with a clear view of the horizon. Sometimes things like buildings and trees can literally get in the way between your device and the satellite. Your phone will tell you exactly which way you need to turn if you need to so that it can connect. Emergency SOS via satellite is Apple's way to connect you with 911. Whenever you dial 911, your phone automatically tries every single possible way to get through. If all else fails, you'll see the message button with an SOS on it. It'll prompt you with a couple of questions to help determine what emergency personnel services that you need. Then it'll connect you with them via text. At the same time, it'll share your current location and any information you've put in your device's medical ID with these emergency personnel. And it sends your current location to any of the emergency contacts you've designated in your device. This one is just the demo version, so it might look a little different in your situation. When it comes to connecting with your friends and family, messages via satellite is going to help you get your message across. It doesn't matter what kind of phone they have. Just make sure that you toggle on the send as text message setting. Messages sent via satellite will take longer than a usual message, and it also doesn't support things like videos, pictures, or group texts. Your phone should prompt you anytime it needs to connect to a satellite, but if it's not, you can find this feature either in the control center or in your settings. Isn't it neat what these things can do? And I didn't even have to download an app.
Wow.
All right, about now not downloading the app.
Yeah, yes, I love this because we're going through a lot of different situations: fires, floods, natural disasters. There may even be a time when you just need to connect because you're out of range, and you
Right.
need to let somebody know that you have a situation. So I thought, oh my gosh, this is really important to know. What do you guys think?
So I'm thinking they keep making the tech so that it's useful. It's not just for fun and trendy and, some nonsensical things. It actually can save your life. And they keep adding little things for that purpose. Like with the watch, it'll be able to detect sleep apnea. But
Okay.
but that hasn't come out yet. But having the SOS,
Yes.
my daughter went hiking or somewhere, and she's climbing, up a little trail by her house, and
Uh-huh.
she thought, well, I'll take this one and come back down or whatever. But she was getting further from wherever it was,
Oh,
and she was trying to call. She called her husband and her nephew, and they were trying to
locator.
look. Yeah, and thank God that she had signal, but it could have been a situation where she didn't have a signal, because sometimes up in them hills and things, you
Exactly. It
don't
gets
get the
sketchy.
signal.
It can get
Very
sketchy.
sketchy signal. And they found out where she was, and they said, okay, come this way. So she was able to maneuver back toward them.
Mhm.
Thank God she took the phone. So that's a thing. That is really a thing. And I've heard about different people who got rescued off a mountain or something else because they had the SOS on the phone, the satellite.
Yes. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also excited about this next story, which is not a video. So we may have some competition here. Uh,
Oh, really quickly, I wanted to say that I think that should really be standard on all phones. Rather than make it something like iPhone versus the world, that's something that should be standard. And I'm sure there are apps that would do that type of thing, but it feels like, in the interest of safety, especially as much as we pay for these phones, that should be something that is standard, built-in software to phones, irrespective of the platform.
Exactly, like seat belts.
Exactly.
just like any other emergency system, when we had Bell telephone, if you dialed 911, it was all connected, right? So I agree. I think it should be universal. And I like the fact that she mentioned that it doesn't matter what kind of phone you have. So
That the other person, so you can get info to whoever
correct.
they are. And the caveat is that you need to make sure you have the text message button turned on. And
Correct.
I think the technology is such where everybody can put that satellite system on. Okay, because the satellite connection system has been out for a long time. They used it in the military. That's how that people, satellite phones were very expensive back in the day. I'm reminded of Jurassic Park when they had the satellite phone out there in the middle of Costa Rica or somewhere, wherever they were in the jungle. But it was a satellite phone. You knew the people had money because they had a satellite phone.
Yes, and they used to call it the brick because it was so big and it was shaped like a brick. Yes.
Right. But you could make a call. And the military used it. So I think it should be a commonplace commodity for communication.
Yeah, it's the difference or that dichotomy of balancing making profit as a company with the need to make sure that resources are available for citizens.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's great. It just needs to be universal, definitely. So it's nice that it doesn't matter what phone, but you can't initiate it unless you have an iPhone.
Right.
So
So I'm wondering if all the other platforms, Samsung or LG or whoever they are, do they have a compatibility, you know what I mean, to make that
to
happen?
make that happen. Good question.
Well, it sounded like you could, in fact, it said it didn't matter if you had an Android or an iPhone, but it's offered on the iPhone. So I don't know if it has to be initiated through an iPhone or not.
It does.
Hmm. So, rollouts take time, but there you are.
But they don't have to.
Okay.
I'm
Oh my goodness.
I'm looking in here to see if they have it while TJ I think is up.
Okay. Well, I do want to say one more thing, guys, and that is that let's see here. It says
Okay, before you go on,
mhm.
it says yes, the Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro series of Android phones have satellite SOS capabilities. The feature is currently only available in the US, excluding Alaska and Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there it is. It's
So other people have the feature. I'm trying to see if there's more. The service is free for the first 2 years after activation, but you'll likely need to pay for it after that. Why? You can use satellite to contact emergency responders, share your location without cellular service. You'll need to use the Google Messages app as your default texting app.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, to answer that question, it's available on both platforms.
Okay. Well, there you go. I wanted to share this, and that is that Google's introduced a new way to search by filming video, according to the broadcast company. It says Google has released a new feature which will allow people to search the internet by taking a video. The video search will let people point their camera at something, ask a question about it, and get results. This is sort of like the shopping lens, isn't it? Android and iPhone users globally can gain access to the feature from 1700 GMT by enabling AI overviews in their Google app, but it will only support English at the launch. It is the latest move from the tech giant to change how people search online by utilizing artificial intelligence. It comes 3 months after ChatGTP maker OpenAI announced it was trialing the ability to search by asking its chatbot questions. Google introduced AI generated results at the top of certain search queries this year with mixed results. Now, in May, the feature drew criticism for providing erratic, inaccurate answers, remember, which included advising people to make cheese sticks to pizza by using non-toxic glue or some crap. At any time, at the time, the Google spokesperson said the issues were isolated examples. The results have since become better with fewer inaccuracies. Okay, so now it has here says the firm said this feature has increased the popularity of Lens within its mobile app, which has motivated it to expand the feature further. So I'm looking at this article and it says the art of the possible generate AI. So I'm going to share my screen and it says watch now. Now I don't know what we're going to get. Maybe I don't know if I should press. I'm like an attorney. I don't know if I should ask the question without knowing what the answer is.
Well, I mean, we know that if it hallucinates, we can just say it hallucinated.
Okay. All right. So let me share this screen. Oh my goodness.
That's what we do. You play in the sandbox. Let's see what we get.
Okay. Can you see that? It says the art of the possible generative AI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the button says watch. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking at
Gives me time to squeeze in one important story here because an inquest has opened into the deaths of 4 people who died when a luxury yacht sank off the
well,
coast
I
of
don't think we
Sicily.
want that
The
one.
technology tycoon Mike Lynch and his daughter Hannah, a senior banker Jonathan Bloomer.
I don't think that was what we were hoping for, people. Let's see.
I saw the thing to make the screen go bigger, but
Oh, did you? Okay, because I couldn't see it. I was like, okay.
something else popped up. Go all the way. Oh, okay.
It says watch now. There we go. And here's our button. Here we go. And let's see what happens when we. Now, allegedly, something's supposed to be playing, right?
I hear music, but I don't see. Maybe it opened a different window.
Get down.
I don't see it still, but that doesn't mean anything to me.
I don't see it either.
Okay, let me stop sharing. We don't want to take people's time. Stop sharing. I'm gonna try to.
Was that BBC News?
Yeah, that's BBC News.
Because something else was on there I thought was interesting, but I'll look that up later.
Yeah. Okay.
Very interesting, though. The where it's going to take video and
search for you.
Yeah, you can search the video, see something in a video, and search for that item.
Try to stop this video.
I kind of like the idea of having the lens, like snap a picture or look at something on your picture and it tells you where you can buy it or whatever, instead of trying to Google search it or
yes,
trying to, because that just took search to a whole new level.
If you could just, point and do the video and have it tell you what's going on.
I absolutely adore Google Lens as a search because you can. It has exposed a lot of things. Let's just say that. As someone who's a reseller, for example, and I'm not a luxury reseller. So if I come across something that I want to resell that's luxury, I the thing, if I'm at the place, I'll take a picture of all the things and then do Google Lens to see, first of all, if this actually exists, and then what are the telltale signs of real. So it's been really helpful in terms of that for people who are reselling anything, whether it's clothing, bags, antiques, and you're trying to find things. It's helpful to be able to use Google Lens to do things online. So I can imagine the fact to take a video of that where you can actually see more of the shape, do a 360, that would be even more helpful in identifying things like that.
Good. So that's what I wanted to emphasize, that we can now search by video, allegedly.
Says them.
Allegedly. And also, I wanted you to know that according to Rutgers, what is it?
Reuters.
Reuters. Thank you, because I can.
Reuters.
Reuters. Okay. That in the U.S. they're about to release thousands of chargers that have been funded by the government. It says they're loaning them $1.5 billion loan for EV chargers is being given to EVgo. And it says the United States on Thursday offered EVgo a conditional loan guarantee of up to $1.5 billion to expand public electric vehicle charging infrastructure across the country, some of which are in marginalized urban communities. Coming to a community near you. And so, if finalized, the loan guarantee from the loan program at the Department of Energy will support EVgo's deployment of about 7,500 public stalls with high-power chargers that can power 2 EVs simultaneously at nearly 1,100 stations. So there you go. Because I think that's one of the main things that's holding the sale of electric vehicles back is, can I actually get it charged? You know what I'm saying?
So I have an electric vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I have experienced EVgo
Mm-hmm.
and some of the I have a Tesla, so the non-Tesla ones, I was driving a Nissan Leaf first.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 5 years ago, so things may have changed. All I know is it was raining.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled up to one of the of the
Generic.
generic, whatever they are. And the one was out of order, and you're trying to contact whoever's on the 800 line to let them know. And you can't like drive to another one if you're needing to charge.
Oh, I see what you mean. Mm-hmm.
You can't like, okay, we'll go 5 miles the other way to go to another charging station when you need to charge now. The reason why you came to that one. So the situation is, if they don't have some way of knowing the status of the charge or the charging station, how is it going to work, right? How is that going to be helpful? Now, Tesla has, I can see on my app which of the things are working and which of them are not working. I can see how many are available and where, because they're all out there. Now, Tesla also is paired up with a lot of manufacturers for them to use the Tesla network. They are, I don't know if they're giving away adapters. I guess when you buy the car, you get the adapter. So I applaud them for doing that, but they need to make sure they're working when you get there. It's nothing like pulling up.
Well, it makes sense that they would have an app now that apps are so, prevalent and available to let us know, when something is down, and for us to contact them even in ways and let them know, hey, this one ain't working, y'all.
Exactly. Find some kind of connectivity with the people to let them know the status of the the app. And so that network needs to be coherent, fixed, whatever it is, because it wasn't fun. It was raining. And I'm trying to figure out how to charge this car so I can get home.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
not
can see where that would be critical. So,
Yeah.
Thank God I wasn't, and I was near stores and stuff, so you wasn't out in the where there was no civilization. I was just like, okay, y'all need to fix this. This is a problem. And that was one of the reasons why I went with Tesla, because I knew it had a network.
it had built-in infrastructure. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm not doing this.
Well, that's what I wanted to share with you guys, that, you can search by video now, allegedly on Google, and you will soon be able to charge your cars, which I think is a good thing when we're trying to rebuild our economy.
Right.
People are doing stuff. They got jobs. They're building things and manufacturing things in this country. And so I thought that was a good investment for us.
It is.
Okay.
Especially if they want everybody to be electric.
Correct.
The charging station needs to be as abundant as gas stations. And
Correct.
I'm like, why isn't there not one at every gas station?
Well, I like the fact they mentioned it's going to be put in marginal communities. That's probably where I live, but so I'm excited about that too.
Right. I just think they need to have them.
It needs
Or
to be
if I was
available
a
like
gas
gas
station-
stations. I agree.
If I was a gas station owner, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be putting them in somewhere near my gas
Yeah.
things, because you got to go that way. You're going to need to shift if they're going to tell people that they're not selling gas powered cars after 2030 or 35. You need to be in position for the other people. Like, why are we anyway? Okay.
All right. So that's what I have to share. And
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Oh,
Did
okay.
Did you
Can
get
you hear
my-
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. My mic wasn't working because I was talking. I was like, well, nobody's
Responding?
Yeah, and then I checked it. It was like the settings said my mic wasn't working. So I was like, what's going on? Mark has a comment. I don't know. Did we bring that up yet?
And then Francine's petroleum shop and Stop and Shop was born.
Mark is so funny.
I know. No, did you get in okay? Because on StreamYard, we are using the reusable studio now.
Yeah, I saw because when you go on the stream, you usually see it says live, and I was like, I'm like, is everybody live? So then I checked the top.
Yeah, and then you have to go to the load
Yeah, you have
more,
to
and
go
I was like,
more.
oh
Yeah, because
goodness.
I was like, what's going on here? I'm here. Where's everybody?
Yeah, I was like, I sent you another message or something because I was like,
Yeah, I
okay.
saw the link, but because when I log in, I get this. It usually pops up like the live, so it's like you have to get used to it now. So it's
Yeah, and we're getting used to a lot of stuff. And so now the intro and outro music are already on.
we saw that it goes.
And
Yeah,
I was like, oh wait, I can't push that.
Who moved the cheese?
They
Who
moved
moved the cheese? They moved the cheese.
the
They moved
Gouda
the cheese.
and the cheddar. It was everything is moving.
So we got a new audience member, and
Woo!
is he ready?
Sterling.
Is he ready?
Hey,
Are you
Sterling.
ready? All
Say,
right.
I'm ready. I'm
Hey.
ready. Say, I'm ready, Miss Terry. What you got?
Okay, so we got a lot today. We're gonna speed
Uh-oh.
through it. Okay,
Here we go.
this week in social media news and updates, I'm gonna start with Snapchat, and let me get to it. I had it up. Oh, here we go. So Snapchat has something called Footsteps, a footstep feature. It tracks your location history. Snapchat is rolling this out to iOS only this week. So this is an option that was previously only available to Snapchat Plus subscribers. It uses Snap Map to let you know how much of the world you're explored and track where you're traveled to. So the first time you use footsteps, your first steps will be based on snaps in your memories, which means that it goes back and looks at your past trips. So we'll put that into the map. After that, Snapchat won't use the memories. It'll just track your travels in real time using location data. Now, you can turn the tracking off in Snapchat. It's called, you go ghost mode, and people that follow you, or if they're going in to stalk you or whatever, they can't see where you are in real time. So you can turn this feature off. It stops Snapchat from showing your location to your friends. Okay, so why are they doing this? Competition with Instagram and TikTok, because I believe Instagram is putting out something called a friends map feature. They're developing that, which is similar to the Snap map, which means you can look at a map and see where your friends are in real time if that option is turned on. Okay, this is all, you turn on the option, you turn it off. So that is what's it called? Footsteps feature, iOS only. They are looking to add this to Android users soon, so that is coming soon. Also, your footsteps are only visible to you, and you can turn the feature on and off. Just like I said, you can clear the data, all of that stuff in Snapchat.
I got 2 comments about that.
Okay.
One, isn't that like Foursquare?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 2, you know that is on your phone anyway. If you go into privacy settings on your phone,
you can follow
you can
people in
see
your
where you've been. Now, whether you share that with anybody, you might share it.
You have to turn the what is it, Find My feature on.
Yeah, the Find My, and so you're connected to friends or whatever. So okay, so I was like,
this is okay. So this is Snapchat. This is, remember, was it 813 to 34? They're using Snapchat as their pass the note feature. Remember in school we used to pass the note behind the teacher's back. This is pass a note behind the parent's back. This is separate from the parent watching the kid in the contacts and the things that you mentioned. So these are inside of Snapchat with their friends. And these may be friends that are not, the parents aren't aware of. All of that stuff, how they use Snapchat, the good and the bad, because there's some bad. But Snapchat is their private pass the note behind the teacher's back app.
Okay.
So that's why they're putting this in here. And then it was behind the Snapchat Plus subscription, but now they rolled it out into the main app, where if the if the user doesn't have Snapchat Plus, they have this option.
So pretty much
you're right. This feature is on the phone, but this is Snapchat, which is another world of private messaging with your friends. And the parents don't see it, or the guardian don't see it, and that kind of thing. That's why.
Interesting.
Very.
We have that on the phone, because you can use that.
And Gen Z does, but they won't use those features. Those features are for parents. The parent, that they know the parent can track them, and that's cool. But this is something different with their friends inside of Snapchat.
It's interesting that just on the fact that if you ever needed to prove where you were, that thing could be an alibi.
It could be, yeah.
It could be. Okay, I wasn't there. I was over here.
I was here, yeah. Proof. You're right.
So does that mean it's admissible in court?
Actually, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Gosh. Have your phone subpoenaed?
It is. This is how what is something going on where they were tracking texts and things and that, and I forgot what it was. But the government has access to all of this. This is the big deal between, I think it was Elon Musk and Brazil. No, not Elon, the Telegram guy. This is why he got arrested. And remember, he didn't, because he wanted to give up this data, but now he's giving it up.
Oh yeah, Telegraph.
He's
Yeah.
giving
Oh,
it
he
up
is.
to a request. Yeah, he's changed. Because I think it went out this week. I didn't put that in.
Oh, I didn't know that he gave it up.
The Telegram will now, in a request from the authorities, the legal authorities, if they need data, Telegram is going to give it up. I think I read that this
Oh
week.
my gosh, so many people are going to be exposed. This is going to be interesting.
Why didn't I put that in? I didn't add that.
Internationally
Let me look it up real
and
quick.
nationally, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because isn't that why he went to France? Because he didn't want to.
Yeah, and
France
see
gave
what
him
happened was
citizenship.
like Terralina said, everybody now is leaving Telegram, going to another app that's called Simple X.
okay.
So Simple
But
X
they're
app that
still
doesn't
in-
require
but they're
users'
still
emails.
exposed, right, TJ? This
What's
their
that?
old stuff is still archived over there.
Yeah, but it's just the whole privacy thing. If the government wants something, they can get it.
Yeah.
Look, if the
Remember-
hackers can get up in there and get your stuff, come on, y'all.
Remember we talked, I think this was a while back, they were saying they wanted Secret Service texts, but they had deleted them from the phone. I was like,
Yes.
they can delete all they want. If it's a government device, it's backed up several places. All
You
we gotta
need,
go
you need
go
to
the
know
backup.
that. We got
It's
more
already
paper.
backed up more than one place. There's a backup.
We have
I know
more
for a
paper since
fact.
we went paperless. And you can shake
What's
a
that?
stick. We have more paper since we went paperless than you
I
can
know
shake
for
a
a
stick
fact
at.
where I know where it goes. It goes to North Carolina, and each region has a region backup. The agencies are broken up into regencies. Like this is the I forgot what region is. Is numbers. Each region has a backup and a backup, and everything goes to North Carolina. So there's two backups. If you use a government device, because there's something called Freedom of Information Act. Everything the
Right.
government does has to be saved.
Mm-hmm.
Saved and backed up. So you have, I was like, everybody was crying about, oh, the Secret Service deleted their text. I was like, if they use the government phone, it doesn't matter. So the thing with 45 doesn't matter. It's all backed up.
Plus, if they use a government phone, you know it's not new tech.
Or the government, if they use the government internet. If they brought their private device and connected to the government internet, surprise.
All your stuff is over there. Okay.
Mark
Mark has a comment.
Yeah, okay.
He said, I just listened to a Dateline where a murder suspect was passed by because he claimed that he was watching White Collar on his computer. He had pressed play, but wasn't actually there watching it.
Mm-hmm.
His computer was playing episodes at his house while he was murdering his girlfriend.
That's funny, Mark, because I was just catching up on Elsbeth. It's the show that I think comes on CBS, and the new season's coming out. So I missed the last.
I love her.
3.
She's back.
Yeah,
Okay,
isn't that great? No, she's not back. I'm catching up on season 1. So one of the shows I just watched was exactly what Mark said. The lady had a security app, something that she was trying to get the NYPD to buy into, but then she wanted to murder the journalist. So she had a virtual meeting, and everybody was wondering why, because we usually have in person. She's like, oh, I got COVID. So she pre-recorded the meeting slideshow, and she went and murdered the guy and came back because she was like near him. And I was like, see. But they Elsbeth caught her because she came on and said, hey, is everybody here? Da, 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 da. And then she said, oh, here's the presentation. She pressed play and left. How they caught her? Because she wears specialty tie-dyed headbands. And she went and murdered the guy and lost a headband. The dog hit it. She came back to the meeting, pressed just in time and pressed the live button and realized, oh, I don't have the headband on. And that's how they caught it. I was like, listen to that.
See, it's not good. Mark says where he made his mistake, he had searched for episode summaries the next day.
Oops. Oops.
You will get caught. I'm like, why you even try that? Murder is not easy, people. It's too much thinking and planning, and
Who
you
got
think you
time
got
for
it
that?
all planned, and then somebody sees you.
Who got time for that? I don't. Okay, but that was a cute little side story. Thank you, Mark.
Mhm.
But
Sterling enjoyed it. He said, okay.
there you go. Okay, so let's move on to WhatsApp. We haven't talked about them in a while. WhatsApp introduces the new feature for the status section of WhatsApp. There's 3 new features: the status like, private mentions, and status reshare. Okay, so the status likes will allow the users to send a private reaction to other users on the status. When you view the status of the other individual, you will find a heart-shaped button at the bottom right that you press to share reaction on a particular status. They're saying the status like feature right now has no like counter, so you won't see the number of likes. You'll just see that there's a like. So that's the status like. Private mention. So now WhatsApp users will be able to mention their contacts privately in a status. All the mentioned contacts in the status will receive a notification for the update. The mention will be hidden from the contact list of the users, and because that's, they want to maintain some privacy. And the last one, status reshare. You will be allowed to share someone else's status on WhatsApp without revealing the identity of the person who originated the status. This will help them share the content with their own audience without hampering the privacy of the status creator. Oh, Fred's here. Hey, Fred.
Mhm.
Good morning. So that's going on with WhatsApp. You guys use WhatsApp. That's what's going on.
I
All
still
right.
don't
So,
trust it.
any comment?
No,
No?
I just said I still don't trust it. So
I don't
Mhm.
use it either.
Well, I don't have any need for a secret message to somebody.
Well, that's why you got Signal and Telegram, and that's what I was saying about Telegram, which I didn't include that.
Mhm.
But I had heard that the guy that what is his name? I don't know his name.
But it-
Pavel Durov.
But it's go ahead.
Go ahead.
It sounds like, so if I can't tell who originated the message, I don't know where it's coming from. I just have a problem with that.
Well, see, here's the thing, and this gets into Threads, which I'll go to.
Okay.
Because Threads is now you can see who followed you from other Fediverse servers. So now remember that Threads is supposed to be this new app that is shareable outside of the app, the whole Fediverse, and you can share the Mastodon and Pixelvide. So they were saying, so I got the conversation on Threads today that people were like, well, we don't want that. We want it where when you share a thread, it shows who shared it or something like that. They thought that was more important than the sharing to the Fediverse server. So that's a big discussion because they were like, oh, somebody is stalking me and I want to see who it is.
Yeah.
An example was that somebody was like, oh, they took a screenshot of something and they Adam Mosseri and was like, oh, 52 shares of my post, and it's like something I need to see who this is because it was something personal or whatever, and they wanted to know because they thought is this an ex-girlfriend sharing my status? They wanted to know who, because it just shows the number of shares, the little airplane icon and the number of shares. And the person was like, oh, I want to see everybody who shared it. And I think you could see that on Facebook, right? I think on Facebook, when you share something, you can see who shared it. You've muted, Fran.
I think that is the case.
Yeah.
Where you can see where somebody shared, oh, so-and-so shared your whatever.
Right.
Yes,
Because
you
if
can.
you make private, if you make something on Facebook private or a list, when you try to share it, it says it's not unavailable because the person made it it's not a public thing. So this is where people in Facebook groups were getting caught. I think it was like some firemen or something got caught for some racial stuff because they went to a private group and put stuff in there, but people took snapshots.
Yeah. They took screenshots.
Because
Yeah.
they could, right? They took screenshots because they couldn't share it out of the private group, so they took screenshots. So, I mean, we're on a thing where it's like, okay, yeah, you want to see who shared it, but I could share it without doing any of that. I could just do a screenshot. You won't ever
Okay.
know that.
Rule number one of online world: whatever you put out there is out
Don't
there.
post stuff. So don't go in a private Facebook group being racist and saying racist stuff, thinking you're cool because I'm with people. I'm with my people, or I'm like people that might like-minded people, so I can say racist, hate stuff and this. No, there's somebody in there that is like, oh, that's offensive. I don't, that's a bridge too far. So I'm a screenshot this and send it to a reporter or do whatever they did. It got outside of the group, and that's how I think it was some firemen. I think it was some another lady that was like a public servant of some city or something, and she said some things.
Not
So all of this-
anymore.
Yeah, she doesn't have that job anymore. Whatever civic job she had in whatever town or whatever, she doesn't have that anymore because she felt like she was free to be, to say all this racial stuff and the stuff that she wouldn't say in public. But I'm with my people.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
So
gonna say what I'm gonna say.
what is done in the dark will be blasted out in the light.
Yeah, so they thought they were cool because, hey, this is a private Facebook group. No.
Yeah, the reality is whenever you have anything online, there is a propensity for it to be shared outside of that group. There's no such thing as a private group on social media. Your private group is when you're in your living room talking with nobody recording. So this can go the other way too, because I remember I'm part of a group that, I mean, I'm not active in it, but I'm part of a group that was supposed to be like a safe space for Black women professors to talk about the microaggressions and things, because yes, you do have it. Universities don't act like you don't have microaggressions, to talk about that. And there are some things that are very specific to Black, and I should say, I hate the word BIPOC, because I wasn't at the table when they selected that, so I would have voted no.
I don't use that word.
People of color. So this was supposed to be for women professors of color, but apparently there was a mole who got in, and someone said something about not feeling supported, etc. at her university. That person went back and told the chair at that. Yes. So needless to say, we were like, who the heck is it? And it was a whole big thing. I was like, I don't have time for this, but you all should know, communication professors, that nothing is sacred online. So I don't know why, even though we're supposed to have a space, that's not the space to do it.
I agree. And what you just said about you're posting publicly, there's the expectation, or that is going to, you don't have the expectation of privacy, but people still think they do. So that was one of the things that came up, and I didn't have time to look at it, but I know that because with Threads, let me find it. Masari said something about, okay, so with Threads, that you're going to get more time to edit. And let me screen share this so we can see it. So you're gonna have more time to edit your post. So you get 15 minutes to edit your post on Threads. Let me bring this up.
Oh, so you can change your mind?
It was 5 minutes, increased it to 15 of editing your post. Let me share.
You can change your text. Your mind probably didn't change. You can say, oh, someone calls you and says, girl, you need to edit that. Okay.
All right, let me.
Oh, wait.
And another side note, if you want to find out like all the screaming about the thing that I just said about the sharing and you don't get to see, you search for him, MOSSERI in Threads, and you'll see the whole shebang. But this is a thread from him, so you get 15 minutes to edit your post. And then also the sharing to the Fediverse. That means your thread post will now be shared to the Fediverse 15 minutes later once the edit window is closed. If you're doing that, if you're not sharing to Mastodon and all these other places, you don't have to worry about it. He also said they're continuing to work integrating threads with the Fediverse starting today. People who have turned on sharing to the Fediverse can see who follows them and likes their content from other Fediverse servers. This is what got the people upset about, well, I want to see this when someone shares my post. They want to see who it is, just like this. Just like here it is. See the Fediverse followers? It says who it is that shared it. Right now, it doesn't do that.
Okay, but here's the thing. Wouldn't you have to go over to wherever the Fediverse is? If you decided to put it over on Mastodon, and if somebody on Mastodon shared it, wouldn't you? It's your responsibility. You want it to be in all them houses at one time.
Right. See, that there's not an issue with that. What they're mad about is that because if you share it to the Fediverse, which is all the apps that are part of that, you get to see this list of people. They're saying when you're sharing threads to Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you just see the arrow. You know, the share arrow.
Okay, you don't.
Right. You don't see the people. See this. Let me see if I can make this bigger. It's a list of names. They want that for everything. Right now, this is just Fediverse people. See Fediverse? See here? They want that for every share. So there's been and I missed it because I wasn't on Threads this week. Let me close this. I wasn't on Threads this week. Did I close it? Yeah.
No,
so I wasn't on Threads this week, and I came in today and saw the little conversation, and I was like, okay, what's going on? People are always mad with this man. So
right. That Fred has a couple of comments. He said, what about BAME, B-A-M-E instead of BIPOC?
Okay, explain the BAME. Means
Black and minority ethnic, old term in Britain / London.
Well, if the British came up with it, then nope.
Can't we just say black?
I don't. Okay, what does BIPOC mean? Just for me, because I don't pay attention to
black.
Black, indigenous,
indigenous people,
black, indigenous. It's BIPOC, black, indigenous people of color, right?
Yeah,
but I forgot how. But
there was the paper color.
Well, I guess you can't say black and be universal because it depends on where you are.
Be universal when okay, this is just a real quick side because I've seen some conversation about this, about people being hesitant to label, and this is in like a legal standpoint, to say it's a white person or a black person. How else would you describe them?
I don't know, but see, that's only good in America because we have a law.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But then when you get over into other countries where there are colors and there are,
but they go by nationality, right?
No,
right.
They can also go by they can use the brown paper bag.
Those are European designations.
Yes.
When you look at Africa, it's by ethnic group. It's only when the Europeans came and decided to carve up land that wasn't there for themselves. That's when you know how I feel about this. That's when all of this happened. Right.
Yes.
So technically, yes, I'm Nigerian, but Nigeria is a myth. It doesn't exist. Those were artificial lines. So before there was a quote Nigeria or Niger or Sierra Leone or any of those places, you had your ethnic group. In Ghana, most people, you're either Akan or Ashanti.
Right.
That's you identify with your ethnic group. I'm Igbo. There are Yorubas. So that's what you did. But now that they have forced borders, people identify by these fictitious countries.
Right.
So,
and that was government. That was a government thing, right?
Yeah.
That was colonialism.
That was colonialism.
Yes, that's what I mean from Britain.
Yeah, they sat down and at a meeting and carved up Africa for Belgium, for Britain, they actually sat down, and I'm like, well, you have the nerve to document that you sat down and carved up land for yourself. So that's where all of this came from.
Yes. So
Fred,
I'm like, if we're black, we're black. I don't have a problem saying that word, but for some reason there are others. No, say it. How else are you going to describe a person? And we're talking America.
this is so interesting to me because we went through this whole thing when I was
Yes, it was
in
color.
college in the
It was
70s.
color. It
It's
was
like,
Negro.
what do we want to be called? I mean, we actually
Yeah, it went through everything. So
Fred
Um,
said, lumped everybody in a label.
yeah, and see
Yeah.
that is a disservice to Black culture and Black community because we don't get the services that we need because it's carved up amongst a big group when it should be for this group.
Right. Well, because, and not to get too deep into it, but that's also because
Fred says he's changed his label to urban. Okay, I got you. Fred.
okay, he's urban.
That's another one.
That's another, that's code for Black, basically.
But see, that could be that includes Black and
community.
others, and I want to. It has to be Black. Sorry.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing because when you're absolutely right. There's this thing to try and include so that when so that it doesn't seem like it's exclusive, but the reality is when you look at statistics for different things, people of African descent tend to be adversely affected by these things. So to say
Yeah.
BIPOC,
We lose out.
you include everybody, and there's nothing wrong. There are this so-called BIPOC, there are problems across the board for everyone. But when you lump it all together, it loses meaning when one particular group has a problem with it. If you say BIPOC, but you're really talking about indigenous people that have been harmed by government policies, like in Canada, the what is it called? The
Yeah, I know what you're
the
talking
schools
about. Mhm.
that they're still finding.
Oh, for the
People-
Indians.
Yes,
Yes.
Indoctrination. Yeah.
Yes, for the First Nations in Canada, but you say BIPOC, you're not talking about
not-
Black people. You're talking about indigenous individuals in the Americas.
So if you're talking indigenous, say indigenous. Don't say BIPOC.
Right. So that's my problem. My problem is also I was not at the table. Who voted on BIPOC?
I didn't.
They didn't ask us.
Nobody asked us.
It's because I'm going to tell you where I feel like where it comes from. Because, like I said earlier, people don't want to say white person or Black person or Hispanic person or this person or that. They have a problem with it because of the racial mix and identity and history in America.
I'll tell you where I think it's coming from. I think it's coming from the browning of America.
Yes.
And
Just not knowing what to say. And
they don't know. They don't want to call their grandchildren Black.
Well, I'll tell you exactly where it came from. But the term BIPOC, it came from out of the Black Lives Matter movement. So that was part of it in terms of deciding. I thought we decided, but apparently, according to them, we had not. So it's Black, indigenous, and people of color. Because I was always concerned the "and" is the operative thing.
Now I gotta learn. Now my list has grown. Now I've been.
Let's see what Mark
Joe.
Mark Joe.
I've been African American, and now I'm BIPOC. Come on, I can't even spell that.
Go ahead, TJ.
Mark says the meeting took place when you were all doing Tech Life Weekly and there were no absentee ballots.
Apparently so.
Mark.
Apparently so.
See here, this just real quick because I know we can get off.
Yes,
off track. Dr. Tachi is correct, and what it is that I feel like if you're Black, say you're Black. You don't have to use the popular term because you don't understand it. Because they're in my grandmother's time, they used other words, terminology, and people get squeamish at the word Negro. This I was like, well, that's part of history. Why are you squeamish? It's not a word.
I use Negro every day, maybe not in the best way, but I use it.
But I remember seeing something that people were like, "Don't say white person." Well, how would I describe this? If the person's not next to me, how would I tell you the person, especially in a legal or a police kind of way?
Caucasian
but see, Caucasian is a myth too. They are not from the area of Caucasus, so they are not. They are not. They're not true Caucasians. So if you ask,
because there's a European admixture, right?
Right. Yes. So you're talking about people that are Armenian, people from that whole region. They're part of Turkey. They're considered Caucasians. And so really,
and you can't call them European either.
No.
So I say European American.
you're
No,
you're
wait,
left with,
real quick. I'm sorry. We have to think of this in government. When the government has a form, what is there? White, black, Hispanic, not
uh,
black. You know what I'm
Other.
talking about? When you fill out a form, it has those lists.
yep.
Yeah.
Does it say Caucasian or does it say white?
He says white. And it's less characters. And-
Does it say black or people of color?
It says black or
but-
African American on the form.
But see, this is another thing that I hate because this is a whole other thing because when people ask me, I mean, clearly color wise, I am brown / black. Nobody's actually black, okay?
Right.
Even the darkest person, you're not black, you are brown or dark brown, so fine.
Right.
But, so fine, color wise, you may say I'm black, but I tell people I'm African. So I also think that African Americans, Afro-Caribbean, you're also African. You are
Yes.
of African descent.
But that's
So,
why
but-
we got the African American.
Exactly.
What you're saying.
But not everybody aligns with that. Some people have a problem with being called African.
That's
no problem.
it.
When the
See?
Great African Rising comes, don't come to me because you
There you
remember
go.
you weren't African. So
Okay.
remember
There you
that.
go. Mark, there's some
We got
comments.
some comments here. Fred said in 2020, the YWCA replaced the phrase people of color in our communications with the umbrella term BIPOC.
Did we ask them for that?
Who asked for that?
Then he said BIPOC. Okay.
Yeah, bye.
Right.
Bye. Yeah.
Then he said BIPOC actually started in 2013. And then Mark, his comment is on those government forms, it says it often says both white, Caucasian.
Right. And then the black one that says black, will say black, and African American, like Dr. Tachi said. And then see, we're getting
Is there
into
one that
what
says
people wanna call-
confused?
But see, this is, and then Dr. Tachi mentioned this is what people get offensive at. So to make it smooth, you go, oh well, we'll do BIPOC or we'll do this. No, it has to be got the government form because we live in this world where everything is categorized, and it does a disservice to each of these groups.
It
Because if
does.
you lump them into
Well, now,
one,
if we're going to go by,
people don't get the services and the things that
Right.
they need.
Right.
if we're going to
'Cause
go
that's
by
how the government
law,
categorizes it by that's why we have the census. The census.
Right.
That's why. So
if you're going to go by the government,
Okay.
government said one drop makes you whole in the sentence. Okay.
Which is why we can't go by the government because they did those
But-
things for nefarious purposes.
But they're
Right.
asking us to fill out the forms.
right.
they can,
And which
filling
you
out
can
their form.
refuse. Which you can refuse.
you can. You don't have to put that
And
down.
Yeah, you don't have
And-
to.
and
Isn't
then-
there always a little box that says other? I
There
thought-
is, if you
And-
want to
and-
explain.
And then they also have
I choose
it
not
says
to.
black, not of
Yes.
Yes, not
Latino
Hispanic,
or Hispanic
non-Hispanic.
descent. Something.
Okay,
I was like,
so
how
this is
that?
two questions or two things. So Fred is actually correct. BIPOC did start in 2013, but it did not gain popularity and nobody was saying or calling us BIPOC until Black Lives Matter happened. So it started way before that, just like a lot of like Black linguistic movements, etc. But the actual term was just very recently applied to us. So he's absolutely correct. It was around 2013. And so I have a question for you, Fran.
Mhm.
Are you not of Panamanian descent?
Yes and no. Okay, so Jamaican, and it goes back to Ghana, West Africa.
Okay.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you were Panamanian. You're Jamaican. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Well, I got cousins that live in Cuba. Look, we done spread out all
Yeah,
over the
you
place.
got
Right. So I was going to ask. So then, when it comes to we talk about like Afro-Cubans, Afro-Brazilians, where did I was really specifically aiming it towards you, but now my whole spot is blown up because you're not even Panamanian. But for people that are Black, I hate the differentiation because again, the same time they came up with BIPOC, that's when Latinx started to come up.
Yes.
And a lot of people,
But there's a lot of pushback against that.
there are a lot of people that can't stand that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think nomenclature lies with the people. It also lies individually. If you don't want to be called something, I can't force you to be
Right.
called it. So
Exactly.
this is a whole word salad that
Yes.
really nobody else has to deal with but us.
Exactly my point. But I'm looking at it from the government giving services to where it's supposed to go, and they based it on that because that's why they asked that on that form. And I'm like, I want the group to get whatever monies they're supposed to get. I want them to get it and not say, hey, it goes all into the pot of everybody. No, this goes to this
This
black,
goes to the
non-Hispanic,
BIPOC pot.
or this goes here. This, and then
And-
when you
and
lump it
that
into
means-
BIPOC, somebody's reaching in the pot of
That
gumbo
ain't
and
supposed-
getting the snow crab leg when I want the snow crab leg. See? That's
Well,
how
you should have gotten there first.
Yeah, Fred
what
has
you
some
said.
comments.
Okay.
He says,
All right,
I
let's
checked
go.
white,
Let's go.
Native
Mhm.
American, Black, African, all of them. Okay, I guess then is all of them is the new. Okay.
No, but if you're at that, and that's the thing,
Mhm.
and I guess the term African American, it's assumed, of course, that you're a person of African descent. But if
Right.
you are African American, meaning that you have several generations of family and descendants in this country, chances are you're not just of
Right.
African descent.
Absolutely.
There is a mixture. So most, I would say, African Americans are multicultural. However, however, many African Americans are, if you do your ancestry, you're going to see it's overwhelmingly African. So there
That's
is a
what
mixture
I
there.
was
It's
getting
gonna
ready
be
to say.
overwhelmingly African, regardless if you want it or not, and that's a whole
Right.
other what's
'Cause
the
see,
name?
I was gonna get to that point.
I'll tell you, mine was surprisingly Caucasian. It had a real dominance. And my brother had it done, and
Right. I was gonna say
my sister-in-law
sister-
called me up. I was saying, what's
Yeah.
going on with y'all?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We would have to actually to
We
get
have
it
no idea.
correct. Everybody would have to do the DNA test, and you would have to go by that because it's like, okay, you could say, well, I say I'm Black, but I could use my DNA and say, well, I've got people from Ireland. I could say I'm Irish, but I
Yeah.
don't.
Right.
And even
because
Africans,
it depends on what
Yes, I
side
could
of
say
what.
Africa because I've seen the country breakdown. I could say because there's more of that than the Irish European, but
You
I
know
don't
what?
go around saying I'm Irish American because people gonna like,
I gotta go get a cookie on this. I'll be back.
okay,
you
I didn't
deserve
wanna
one.
get to this. I didn't want to get because this is like a thing, like you
Yeah,
can break
yeah.
it down. But I'm just saying that
And see,
call it what it is.
that's the thing, because on my grandfather's side from Jamaica, my grandmother's side, we got European over Ireland somewhere. My sister does all this stuff. I don't keep up with it, but it's still there, right?
Right.
Just like it's like, okay, so what? I guess it's
Yeah.
whatever you decide to call yourself.
Right,
Yeah,
because I'm saying
yeah.
like my great grandfather was a white man. Am I going around telling everybody that? No. I'm like, I'm Black. I'm gonna stick with that, and everybody do what they want to do. But I'm just looking at it from this culture won't get this, or this community won't get the funds.
Mark got caught. Mark is that joke. Wait for the soulful spicy white bread option.
You could fill it in under other. Just check other and then put soulful
Yeah, I
spicy
could-
white
yeah.
bread.
Yeah, see, it's this, and I'm gonna tie this up because we're gonna get back to social media. But this is because what Kamala Harris is going through. That is she Black? Is she Indian? Is she South Asian? Is she blah, blah. She's all of those things. But her mother decided to raise her and her sister as Black women, and they in Black culture and with the Black schools. Why is that a problem?
It
She's
is
still
not.
South Asian. She's still Jamaican. It's all in there.
It's the same thing. This is irrespective of, and not to belabor the point,
Yeah.
but this is irrespective of quote color. This is also cultural. So if you happen to be multicultural, like you have one parent that is Bahamian and the other parent is American, but they're both black. That doesn't mean that because you grew up in America and you grew up in African American society, quote unquote, that doesn't mean you're any less Bahamian. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Agree. So see how this is all, it's all a mixture, a mismatch, and people telling you how you should identify, which they shouldn't. You decide what you want to be called.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's move, because we'll talk about this all day. Let's move on back to social media updates. I don't know how we got on this. Threads.
Don't
Somehow
even
with
go
Threads.
look for it, because if you try looking for it,
All right, so we talked about Threads and the sharing. Let's look at TikTok real quick. TikTok has something called Flip Stories. And this is what they're calling it. Add surprise to your stories on TikTok with Flip Stories. Flip Stories is a new feature that allows creators to add a second slide to every story that can be unlocked with a flip. Flip Story opens new opportunities. This is their words. TikTok. Flip Story opens new opportunities for connections and engagement between creators and their follower communities. Whether it's before or after photos or exclusive announcement and sneak peeks, Flip Story adds a layer of fun surprise to storytelling on TikTok. So how this works is you tap the plus button, create page, toggle the story, and then you see an option to add a flip story. I think I had the let me show you real quick if you're interested. I think there's an image of it.
while you're doing that, Fred said chocolate chip, POC choice of cookie. I'm not sure what POC means, but somebody can explain that to me. And he says Snickers.
People of color.
People of color.
Oh, Snickers, people of color candy bar. Okay.
So this is the flip story option. When you go in, there's a button that says hold the flip, and then you add a second story. So I guess this is
this.
This is the scenario that they're saying that you're how it started. I'm normal, and then you take another picture. Is before and after.
Okay, so didn't we used to do these on Instagram before, afters, or something? Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole option on there for that, but that's what Flip TikTok is adding to make things more fun. Now, to view a flip story, you press the hold the flip button, and then you reveal the hidden content. This Instagram has something called hidden content or something. So you will be able to see a separate list of viewers for those that unveil the second slide. So it's like the Instagram has something called reveal or something. So the TikTok is coming with the flip story. They're saying that this is another format for self-expression and connection, expanding the way stories can be created and shared on TikToks, i.e. I want you to come into TikTok and here's another toy to play with because we want you to stay on TikTok and see some ads. That's what it is.
People like toys and distractions.
we want to see some ads.
Speaking of this, are you going to Facebook? Because I had this experience. So I went into Facebook to do something today, and I went to somebody's page and it said play this game or something, and I'm like, how is it asking me specifically to play a game on their feed? I was like, oh, this is another trap. I'm not getting up out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen that. I don't know what's going on with that.
See if I can pull it up. I was like,
pull
this
it
is
up.
crazy. It's like, where did I get this craziness?
Yeah, so speaking of Facebook, let's talk about Meta real quick. So Meta has something called Movie Gen model. This is their entry into putting text to video. Remember Runway, AI, OpenAI, Sora, they're all working on text to video model. So Meta jumped into the mix with something called Movie Gen. Turns text prompts into a realistic video with sound, but no voice yet. So they're saying that this is going to be similar to Runway AI, OpenAI, Sora, and other text and video apps. Audio is generated to match the contents of the video. So this is, for instance, engine noises that correspond with car movements, or the rush of waterfall in the background, or the crack of thunder in the video when they need it. They'll even add music if it seems relevant, but not voice, because you have to sync the voice with the person's mouth moving. It's not quite there yet. So here's a quote. Movie Gen is purely an AI research concept right now, and even at this early stage, safety is a top priority, as it has been with all of our generative AI technologies. Movie Gen is not publicly available. Like the Sora, OpenAI Sora is not publicly available. These are things they're working on in the background. The only thing they have now is the Runway AI. I think you can go now and do, I think we showed that, like little 10-second clips of text to video, or you start with a photo to video. Those options are available. So that's what's happening. Get ready for this text to video coming in a year. Within a year, we'll be talking about it differently.
Yeah.
In a year, I get a year, because everything moves fast like that. Let me see. Okay, real quick, let's talk about YouTube. Creators will be able to make short videos that are up to 3 minutes long. Shorts, YouTube Shorts. The limit was, I think it's 60 seconds. Now it's going up to 3 minutes. Remember
thank God.
Remember that TikTok does 10 minutes, I think, live, and then it does more. Or there's something about TikTok, you do something live, and then if you do it recorded, it's 10 minutes. So YouTube is letting creators upload videos up to 3 minutes in length. This is beginning October 15th. And they're saying this was highly requested by users. And also there's going to be a template feature that lets creators reuse the format of other shorts. You'll be able to match your clips to trending sounds pulled from other videos, similar to, again, TikTok and Instagram, where you have the remix or the match or something. I'm not sure what each platform is calling it. Remix. So it'll be a remix option on the short, and then you can use the template to make your own video. And there's one more thing about shorts. Oh, yes, they're updating the shorts player, and they're adding a new shorts trend page on mobile devices. So the shorts player is going to design the look of the short videos, is moving the icons to the right out of the way, is condensing the caption, hiding it behind the more button because they want more of the video to be seen, and this is more of a mobile kind of thing. So they're saying the creator's name, description, and sound information will be compressed at the bottom. Also, one more thing from YouTube, they're adding a show fewer shorts option that will temporarily result in fewer shorts videos in your home feed. So there's going to be a temporary option. I don't want to see shorts. Don't show me shorts. You'll tap it and you won't see shorts, but it's temporary. It's not permanent.
This is wonderful, if I may say, about the shorts. And I definitely understand that shorts are intended to be shorts, like Fred saying YouTube shorts will turn into YouTube longs, and it can go either way. It can people are used to short bursts of information, and so they'll spend time with that, and then they may not watch all the way through if somebody decides to do a 3 minutes. But it also, I can't tell you how much I'm like sometimes trying to struggle to get the information into a short, and I'm recording too, so I have the full length one that I need to do, and that may be 3 or 4 minutes, and then the short, because I can't cut it off. So this is a good thing for people who need something a little bit longer.
Yeah, so up to 3 minutes, October 15th. That is coming. So
they should do it tomorrow.
Upload YouTube shorts up to 3 minutes in length, and it's been highly requested. Now, there's one more from Google. It's more of a Gmail thing, but they're going to put summary cards in your emails to where you will be able to do things like track a package, check for flights, set reminders, pay bills, different things like that. So there'll be email categories like purchases, events, bills, and travel. And with this, you won't have to read through the emails to find the information you need. So they're going to make these little summary cards at the top of a message, offering quick access to information you may need at a glance. Like when when is a flight scheduled to land, when is a package arriving, different things like that. And at the bottom of the summary card, Gmail users can click on a blue button if they want to take additional actions like tracking the package, viewing the order, viewing your ticket, getting directions to a show, setting a reminder to pay a bill, managing your airline booking, and more. So they're going to put little cards inside of Gmail. They're also going to add something called Happening Soon section in your inbox where we'll organize these summary cards for easy access. The cards will also be surfaced or included in Gmail searches. This feature is already rolling out. So this is what they're doing for Gmail. They're saying that down the road, all 4 card categories, purchases, events, bills, and travel, will begin appearing across individual emails. The Happening Soon section in search. So look for your Gmail to look different.
Okay, now I got to go figure that out.
Yeah, so it's going to be little summary cards, and because AI can read it is reading the email, and then if it's you going on a flight and the airline sending you an email, then it's like it's trying to put that information in front of you more from the other emails.
Right. It's trying to be like Fred says here, the personal assistant. Okay, you check this and trying to bring the important stuff to your
right, because it's using the Gemini. Right.
But we already have the app. Okay, so all right, for the airline that you're traveling on. Because
right, but if they send you an email, then if you're a Gmail instead of the app, you'll see what you need. And you have a link to, whatever you need to do, it'll link to that.
Okay, so this only works if you check an email.
Right.
Correct.
But then remember, you get notifications if you haven't turned them off.
Not I said the cat. I turned it. I'm like, I am not getting I don't like stuff popping up in front of me. So I'm like,
right. My stuff I put under focus and it doesn't pop up during a certain time of the day. But these are people, who don't do those things. And they get notifications and they pop up. Okay, but just look for that. Gmail is trying to integrate this Gemini all the ways they can. And speaking of AI, we got some more stuff. OpenAI might raise the price of ChatGPT to $44 by 2029.
The devil is a liar.
And so they're gonna get rid of the free, because I'm telling you, the free is doing enough for me right now.
They got the free. This is ChatGPT Plus, the one you pay for.
Yes, but
so they're changing it from 20 to 44.
I haven't found a reason why I needed to jump.
That's a month?
Yes.
Well, part of the
reason, 2029.
2029. Well, isn't part of the reason for that also because they're no longer going to be a nonprofit?
Could be. That's probably what it's about. That's probably what it's about.
Now, Fred said, how much is ChatGPT plus plus?
It's
they could do that. So this is so this was according to the New York Times, but they saw some internal docs that said that this is what they want. So they're saying ChatGPT was costing that was $700,000 per day.
Oh, that's what people need to pay.
They have roughly 10 million paying users.
Okay. See, that makes sense because it is pulling resources to do all that it's doing.
Right.
And it needs to be funded.
Yes. It needs to be funded. So that's why Microsoft has their hand in OpenAI and they gave them some money, but this, as you see, it still is not enough. So 2029, the price will go up.
Fred said it was all a setup, AI Sky. or
Now,
Psyche.
speaking of Microsoft, there's some more. So Microsoft Copilot can now read your screen, think deeply, and speak aloud to you. So Microsoft is launching new Copilot capabilities on Windows. There's a tool that understands and responds to questions about what's on your screen. So they're calling this Copilot Vision. So Copilot Vision has a view of what you're viewing on your computer, a lens into the site you're visiting with Microsoft Edge. This is when this is Windows, and if you use Microsoft Edge, the browser. So this is also this is behind Copilot Labs. So they have a lab, Google has a Google Labs where they test out new things. Microsoft has a lab where you can go and beta test things. So they're calling this Copilot Vision. And so there are it's going to analyze text and images on web pages and answer queries like, what's the recipe for the food in this picture? Which is something that OpenAI does. If you put a picture up, you can say, you put up a picture of a steak and give me some recipes.
Okay. Yeah. Fred said, I need an app called Mind Your Business. No Copilot, no Gmail assistant. This is really interesting because there are people that I know that they got something that popped up on their screen and they had a Windows PC. Oh, you need something, your your antivirus needs to be doing something, and they wanted to have access to the computer. Anybody see that movie Bees, The Beekeeper?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, you need to see The Beekeeper because Felicia Rashad was in it too.
Okay.
Anyway, but the fact is that people they were getting in and seeing what was happening on the screen.
Right. And you have to give permission with that little pop-up thing. So anything that pop up say you got to do X, Y, Z, say no.
Right. But a lot of people don't know that and they get sucked into the vortex.
That's how all of the things that happen, the cyber attacks, the this and that, you open an email, you click on a link. Oh, what's this? And you click the link. No. You get messages, text messages from people you don't know. Do you open them and tap on them? No, you just send the junk. I don't know you. Send the junk. Delete and send the junk. But see, there are people that go, oh, what's this? It says click. Let me click. And then you're in trouble.
Right.
So anything that pops up, no. If you're on a Mac, the only thing that you need to do, and this works automatically, is it updates your operating system, but it does that automatically in the background. It doesn't ask you. It may ask you, do you want to do it later? But that's Apple asking you. That's not this thing.
And so what I'm referring to then is if this new Copilot feature can read your screen,
yes,
who else can be reading? You understand? I'm like, I don't need you to read all my stuff.
We gotta be, and see, this is the intrusiveness of the operating system. Windows versus Mac. Mac is not doing that. Apple's not doing that. But here goes Microsoft. Oh, we want to read your screen with Copilot Vision because you use the Microsoft Edge, because when you agree to use Microsoft Edge, you agree to all of those things. Just like real quick side story, there people are going to Instagram and putting their Instagram stories. Meta does not have permission to use my data to something. And this story, a lawyer said if I posted it in my stories that it denies permission. No. When you sign up for Instagram or Meta or whatever you signed up for when you did new account, it's in there. There's no posting of a post that says the lawyer says if I post this to my stories, I can stop Instagram from using my data. So Instagram, I do not give you permission. That's going around. That was going around before. I remember a couple years ago. So it's going around now, but people think that yes, these AI lawyers or something else. So people post, you might see it. They're posting it in their stories saying they don't give permission. By you using the app, by you signing up for an account, by you opening the app, you are already given permission. So guess what? If you don't want them to use your stuff, delete
Don't
the
put
app.
it.
Delete
Don't
your
put it
account.
out there.
Delete your account. That's how you stop it. But this putting up of a story of Meta, I don't give you permission, and this story is my proof. I don't know. So that's what's going on now on Instagram. So if you see that, so just real quick back to this Microsoft Copilot Vision. They're saying that with design, it deletes your data immediately following the conversations. Process audio, images, or text aren't stored or used to train models. They're saying that it's not. Copilot Vision is limited in the types of website that it can look at or interpret because Microsoft got in trouble for getting stuff behind the paywall. So anything behind the paywall, you won't be able to access. So that's what's going on with them. They also have the new Think Deeper feature that it gives Copilot the ability to reason through more complex problems, reasoning models. So this is available to a limited number of Copilot lab users. So you have to opt in. Australia, Canada, US, and UK. Two more. Microsoft has something called Copilot Voice. So this is going to be for synthetic voices, letting you talk to Copilot and have your responses be spoken out loud. OpenAI does this, the voice mode. Also, the personalization Copilot is going to be more tailored to your likes and preferences. There's a personalization setting. When you turn it on, Copilot will draw on your past interactions and history, as well as your interactions with other Microsoft apps and services to recommend ways for you to use Copilot. Now, they cannot do this in the EU because the EU has that Digital Services Act. So that's not happening over in the EU. But it is happening in the countries where they do not have the Digital Services Act. So that is what Microsoft is up to. And I believe, let me make sure. There was a couple of new apps, but I could save those for later.
Okay, so
yeah,
why does this feel like we're getting closer to Mommy, I saw a bot?
Mommy, I saw a bot.
Where, you know what I mean? Because the thing is talking back to you now. No.
Remember when I said in 2023 that this AI was going to be in everything? And here it is, 2020. Well, no, I think I said 2022. Whenever it first came out, I said it was going to be in everything.
You did.
I said it. When we first, what was it, November? I can't even remember how long. That's how much it's integrated in our lives. I can't remember when it started. I think it was November 2022. And I said it was going to be in everything. Look at what Meta's doing. I posted this on Threads. I was going to post it on my Instagram. I can go to Meta and ask it to give me the best hashtags to use for my account. And I did. So I think I posted it on Threads. Within the app, in search, I typed in a prompt and Meta said, sure, give me, who are you? And I said, well, I'm a market go, blah, 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 blah. It said, okay, these are the best hashtags to use. I didn't have to go outside of Meta. Also, Meta AI will give you images. You don't have to go to Copilot or OpenAI. You can do it right in Meta. Everything is done right in there and it's integrated. What is Apple doing? Apple is coming up with their artificial intelligence. It's going to be inside of the phone. You're not going to go to an app. So these things are integrated.
Fred said,
the
boogeyman is virtual.
Yeah, so we're in it.
Ooh, because I was like, I'm not letting you all up in my
And look at that's why I included the Gmail thing, because most people use Gmail. There's other email services, but a lot of people use Gmail because of the Drive and all of the other things. But look what they're doing with Gemini, integrating it into Gmail, into creating an email, categorizing, essentially being an assistant for you.
Right. It's being A and S, meaning
Right.
from those two
Yeah,
things.
it's saying you are expecting a package because Federal Express or whoever, UPS or whatever, sent you an email saying your package is coming. Because if you get Amazon, your Amazon emails come in saying where your package is. So you
Yep.
can either ask the device, look in Amazon app, or if you pick up your phone and your notifications on Gmail and saying, hey, here's your package. What do you want to do? And you don't have to open the email now. There's going to be a little card, a little assistant that says, "Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of it for you."
It's going to get to the point where it talks to you.
Yeah, yeah. Because right now you have to initiate the conversation, like with the Copilot voice and the OpenAI voice, which I've used a couple of times. I just forget to use it because I'm just so used to typing. But now I'm doing a lot of things, even with Siri. I'm like, why am I trying to find an app when I can push the little button or say, hey, I'm not gonna say it, but hey, do this, take a note. Because I was doing something, my hands weren't free, and I was wearing my AirPods or something. And I said, hey, take a note, because I had a thought about something, but my hands weren't free to where usually I pick up the phone and type it, because that's old style. Gen Z were like, you just say, hey, assistant, take a note, and it did it. I was like, because I will have a thought, and if I don't, and I repeat it to myself, da 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 da, until I can get to record. And I was like, why am I doing that? I got the headphones in. All I gotta do is say, hey, so and so, take a note, and it did. And I was like, but I know that's there. It's just implementing it more, and that's where we are.
It's going to get commonplace as buying water.
Second nature.
It's going to get like buying water.
Yes.
Buy water? I will never pay for water. We can get water out the tap.
But it's just that kind of thing. When you discover what the tool can do for you, you do more of it. So now I'm doing more of it, where I was like, I knew that it could do that. It's just I never used it because I'm used to picking up the phone and typing and now I'm like, why am I doing that? Why am I doing 10 steps when I can do one? I'm listening to Spotify, and I was like, hey, I had a thought. I was listening to a podcast, and I had a thought, and I was like, okay. No, it was like I said to the air, hey, take a note, and it did. I was like, oh.
This is real good. I gave my Chat GPT a name because I was like,
yeah, I gave my name too. I forgot. Did I say Jessica and Jennifer?
Yeah, Jessica.
Jessica. Okay. Jessica, my assistant, will handle that for you. And Jessica will get back to you. See, I got a team. It's just me, but I got a whole team of assistants.
Yeah, I'm telling you that it works for compiling stuff, like pulling my tech news or whatever. What is happening in tech?
Yeah, we talked about this on Tuesday, right? I think we talked about this a little on Tuesday. So I'm just saying that intelligence-wise, I knew it could do that. I just never implemented it. Now I'm doing it, and more people will do that. We will do that. We will do that. Fred has some comments.
Once you understand how it works, he says I curse out my CarPlay when I tell it to call somebody and it screws up. I have had that happen with my other assistant on Apple. I said, call so-and-so. I know I'm speaking clearly, and it's calling somebody else or doing some weird something. I was like, no, that is not what I said.
This is the interesting thing with that too. The differences in speech patterns and speech tones kind of mess with it. And honestly, it goes to the way things are trained. Hopefully with AI, it starts to get more used to your voice so that it adjusts. Because listen, if nobody speaks the Queen's English, I do. You're telling me you couldn't understand what I said? Okay. So I think it's because it's trained on a, quote, typical Midwestern voice.
Yes.
Which everybody does not have. If you live on either of the coasts, forget it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do that in the beginning because it's cost. They cannot program every voice, but we're going to get to the point where, and again, I think we talked about this with OpenAI, like doing things and training it on your previous blog posts and things you've written. It's going to be trained on your voice, which is what I want. Because then, like you said, it will understand me exactly and not do something that I didn't ask it to do because it didn't understand or hear me.
Correct.
Fred says, I have seen people testing AI to speak in Ebonics and others. And we'll have that where if you want to speak to it that way, it will respond and do what you want. It'll be that way.
It's gonna get like Jarvis on what is that dude? Iron Man.
Oh, yes.
Where he talks to Jarvis. Jarvis do this or do that, and Jarvis is talking back and they creating stuff. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Jarvis. So that's what's coming.
This is some good stuff. Dr. Tachi, you are up.
Oh. Wow. Sterling is having some good sleep. Good for you, my friend. Good for you. Well, we have a lot going on, obviously, in I'm not going to talk about politics, but did anybody watch the vice presidential debate?
No.
You
Yes.
You found it. You did.
Yes,
What?
I watched it to the end.
To the end. And I was on a panel with Dr. Vibe, so I had to watch. So this is how I saw both of the debates. Overall, what did you think of the debate as a whole? Not necessarily issues, but as a whole, as an event, what did you think of it?
Well, I think the debates are crucial. I really watched all of them. And it might be because I'm not working a regular schedule, but it's in the evenings. And so I've been able to catch it. I like to look my politicians in the face. So I enjoyed it. I liked the moderators. I think they keep evolving how they're trying to do this. But it was good overall.
Okay.
The part that I saw, they were pleasant. You know what I mean? There wasn't like this. It was like debates of old, where you know what I mean. It wasn't like I'm just
Civil.
See, I got what I needed from the soundbite. The soundbite from the whatever that last thing that JD Vance said and Tim Walz said. I was like, I'm glad I didn't watch it because I got what I needed from that little last thing.
Mark has a really quick question. A
okay.
comment here about something we were talking about
Yeah.
previously. He said on a side note, yesterday was his mom's birthday, 7 years past. If your parents are still alive, use your technology to record them. The day will come when you long to hear their voices.
Yes. That's
Absolutely.
very true. Just real quick, just personal note for me. It just made me think about, because my mom passed a while back, and when I was still working at the EPA, she called my office phone and left me a voicemail, and I'm like, I wish I could have that now because I don't have that. So that's tying into what he's saying. Like, I've got recorded stuff on like little digital tape that I gotta get. What do you call it? Transfer. Yeah, it's got to be converted to something because I don't have the player. But I'm just thinking of that voicemail message that she left. So, and I kept it on the office phone, and I was like, okay, I forgot to get it. So
yeah, and they have apps. I think you talked to us about an app where
that was the app we talked about it, where you the grandparents and the grandchildren and because children don't. You know, when you talk to an older, they don't really want to talk. Yeah, no. So the app was trying to get them to answer questions ask grandpa about whatever, and then they could record it. So that's another app to use.
Right.
And that one I like because it doesn't involve the parents don't have to sit there and prod the kid. Oh, say, because you got to tell the kid, say more. And they don't. So.
Right.
Absolutely. No, that's very smart. We need to move from being oral tradition is great, but we
Yeah.
really need to
It needs
move
to be
from
recorded.
being predominantly oral tradition cultures
Mhm.
to documenting things. And so,
Yeah.
many families have a historian, quote unquote, that is responsible for keeping all the family pictures, etc. Part of that should include the videos and recordings as well.
True.
Yeah,
Agreed. So.
absolutely. Wow. So,
Oh,
anybody else?
the debate. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were talking about the debate.
Anybody else?
No, I didn't watch it because I knew I was going to get what I needed from the sound bites, and I got what I needed. So
Believe me, if I was not on the panel, I would not have watched it.
I was fine. Now I watched the one with 45 and Kamala. I watched that one in real time. It was I'm glad I did because it had to be experienced in real time.
Yeah, it did. It's like you had to be there.
Yeah.
Mark
Yeah.
Ward said he watched the debate. So,
Okay.
Mark or Fred, what did you think about the debate as an event?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, I'm interested to know. And as we're waiting for them to answer, wanted to give you some stats on terms of it. And as you know, it was on CBS, although you could watch it across YouTube, across the internet. And that's something that is very different from even 2020, where there was widespread interest in watching these debates on formats that were not regular linear network television. So in addition to CBS, you could find it all over the place. So according to Nielsen, they had an estimated for the VP debate 57.9 million viewers, and
on CBS, right? On just
on
the
CBS
channel. Yeah.
Well, this is sorry, am I right? No, it was 50. Sorry, no, wait a minute. I have this is wrong. This is not right.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm looking now. I'm like, wait a minute.
No, because I was like, did they break it out by like they watched the on-air channel versus the online versus the
Yes. So okay, the vice presidential debate is 43.15. I was looking at the wrong year. That was 2020. So 43.15 million tuned in, hosted by CBS News across 15 broadcast and cable networks. This is according to Nielsen. So what we're getting the numbers for is, yes, it's across the different networks, but Nielsen, they just started to measure web stuff. Nielsen really deals with broadcast, with cable, that type of measurement. So that's what they were measuring. It does not include viewership on streaming platforms. So they weren't including that at all. They need to, but they weren't for this one. So overall, as you all were saying, there definitely was a positive tone to this. It was civil, the way debate is supposed to be. Despite the fact of the lies, that's notwithstanding, it was civil. I think there was, analysts said this, when you watched afterwards, was it Morning Joe that I saw that was talking about this? And they said that, well, once I knew that they had to appear, let me just say, because of the things that have been shown in media of JD Vance saying things, he did not have the favorable, people were not looking at him favorably. So he knew he had to come and be nice.
Right. Oh, wolf in sheep's clothing.
Exactly. Exactly. He knew he had to come and be nice because things hinged on it. Now, the VP debate in the grand scheme of things, really, this is theatrics at best. It really doesn't mean a whole lot in the scheme of the election because people are already set on who they're voting for. We only have
ballots have gone out, right? Absentee ballots have gone out. Some early voting has started.
Correct.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for mine.
Yeah.
So
you ask Mark and Fred to weigh in, and I believe I have answers.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
So Fred says on the debate, Good Times was on episode when Big Daddy sponsored JJ for an art show.
I remember. So that competed for eyes with that one.
That's why I was like, hey, don't watch that. Watch the Good Times episode, which is classic. All the Good Times are classic. So,
And Mark says journalism used to be about fact checking. So it infuriates me when candidates can incessantly lie unchallenged. Waltz did well. Vance was a better debater on style, but not on substance.
and wasn't there something JD Vance said something about, oh, I thought you weren't one of the moderators fact checked them. He was like, oh, I thought we weren't supposed to do it. So the things come out the way they're supposed to come out. And again, the ballots are out, people are already voting. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm undecided. No, they're decided. So
Mark said it will not move the needle for anyone.
thank you, Mark.
And
That's
Mark
it.
is yeah, absolutely. This is theater. It is for the enjoyment. It's entertainment. It is something that they've historically done, but not only since the 70s, actually. I think, if I'm not mistaken, someone can look it up, the vice presidential debates only started in the 70s, and the presidential debates only started in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. So these are, in the grand scheme of things, these are not something that have been done since the beginning of American elections at all. This is relatively newer. So it's not going to move the needle. People are already set. I think debate style wise, this is another thing too. People got so used to the antics and the orangutangan theatrics of 45 that this debate for some people seemed boring, right? Or they're like, because people are used to the theater that happened with the other debates and what he brings, but that is not true debate. And as a debater and someone who judges debate on the college level, I haven't in a while, but I had in the past. The rules of debate, for the most part, were followed. I too did not like. You're right. Journalism is about fact checking and bringing the truth. So if something is put out there that is not true, as a journalist, it is your job to dispute that. So the fact that somebody doesn't want fact checking, what are you hiding? That means you're saying something that's not truthful if you have a problem with somebody checking you on what you're saying.
Yeah, and see, a part of it is like what you were saying about JD Vance showing up with his, on his best behavior. That's what it is. They show up on their best behavior. The only person that you're going to really see show up as themselves was in the presidential debate with 45 being, all the cats and the dogs. That was entertaining. And it was like, okay, he's going to show up as himself because he really doesn't care. But JD Vance is going to show up because, well, I said all these things. Let me show up in a more positive light. Let me spiff up. But he got caught too because they got him with the I thought we wasn't fact checking. That was like the real dude popped out behind the little mask that he put on for TV. So that's what it was about. Like,
absolutely. And I honestly think that despite what he said, Mr. Snake Oil Salesman, I think they still should have continued to, like, sir, you don't run this. They still should have continued to fact check in order for the truth to come out. I don't know why anybody would accept a debate where things are not fact checked, because you could be getting lies, but see, people want to hear lies sometimes.
Right. And see, the thing at the end where I think they were asked about was the 2020, do you believe the 2020 election was I don't remember the question, but he didn't answer the question.
He never answered it. Right.
He just defended with something like, okay, I'm gonna talk about Kamala Harris, not Cole. I was like, what?
The question was, do you believe that Donald Trump won the election?
Correct.
Yes, that's what it was. He never
answered it.
And he could have said yes or no, and he didn't say
yes before yes or no answer.
Well, and that was on the journalist, which is why Norah O'Donnell and what's the other one? I can't remember her name.
Norah O'Donnell and
the other one. Sorry, I'll think of her name.
The other one.
It's the
They should have pushed back, sir. You did
They
not
should have
answer the
pushed back.
question.
Exactly. It's like this is a yes or no. All we need is a yes or no. I
What?
don't think that they were the strongest journalists
No,
No.
at all to do this.
But my thing is his answer about I'm going to, you know, every answer is gonna be me trying to make her look negative with a COVID. Well, what about her COVID response? She's not the president, dummy. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, and
So
that's why you need fact checking throughout. It doesn't matter who it is. You need fact checking throughout
yeah,
for all sides of this to ensure that the public gets the right information. So
Mark gave
honestly,
the- okay.
go ahead.
That's what it was.
Thank you.
Margaret Brennan.
I could not remember her
Yeah.
name for the life of Margaret Brennan. Thank you. So for the life of me, I don't understand why any network would allow for something to happen without fact checking. One side says, okay, we'll do it, but no fact check. Oh, well, then we're not doing it because the American public deserves the truth. We have journalists here who are trained in doing that and will bring out the truth unless you're intent on lying. So I put this on the networks as well. The quest to have a debate, to have an event, a televised event of this magnitude superseded the truth. You could have told them no.
Mm-hmm. So look, Fred's comment explains it all without words.
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly. That's
it
exactly
wasn't
the
about
thing.
a debate. It wasn't about putting the facts out. It wasn't. They want eyeballs.
Exactly. So Dr. Vibe asked us on the panel, so who do you think won? And we all said there were no winners. And first of all, I said this is very neutral. There were no winners. We heard both sides. And that's even people were saying that there were no clear winners, but that's exactly what I said. I said CBS won because they got sponsorship money for this, so they won.
They got ad money. They can bump up their ad rates.
Yeah, they got
CBS
ad money.
won.
So CBS won.
That's
exactly.
why I didn't even watch. I didn't. There was nothing new going to be presented to me. It was going to be entertaining. I knew I was going to get the soundbite. I got the soundbite I wanted. Was the last question, and I was like, I'm good.
Exactly. Mark has an interesting comment.
He says, over time, the right has convinced journalists that truth/facts are biased when it happens to favor one side. If journalists challenged lies, we wouldn't be in this position right now.
That's precisely the point.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is because you are using airwaves. You are using the journalist tool to put this out. It is out. Nobody is expecting the American public to know for sure everything because the average person in the American public refuses to research. Therefore, you have these professionals whose job it is to uncover and present the truth. But if you're not going to do that, then why are you having the debate? We're all sitting there like talking like, no, that's not the truth. I said, that's a lie. This is a lie. You are deflecting. So they have to, if they're going to continue to do these debates and not just have it be an exercise in entertainment, they have really got to look at not allowing this to take place unless there is fact checking involved. There's no other way. I think it's absolute rubbish that you would have any type of event like this and just allow people to say whatever they like. And therefore that influences the public mind. Go ahead.
Right. And you're absolutely correct. But what I'm going to say is, and we talked about this a lot, is that mainstream media, network TV is dying. They are doing a slow death. They know they're dying and they're grasping at the life raft. They're grasping at the life preserver. And instead of doing the things that they need to do, like you just said, they're like, oh, well, everything's a money grab. They're just grabbing money.
But this is one event and something that is fleeting. It's over, and you're not going to have this chance again if they decide to do a debate again for another 4 years. No. You need a better strategy than this.
No.
You're dying, but this is not it. This is not what's going to resuscitate you because it's not even the audience that would resuscitate you that watch it. And CBS, If anybody is dinosauric, which is not a word, I made it
They
up.
know it. They
If
know that
anybody is
they-
dinosauric, they are. So
Remember what CBS used to have on at the Angela Lansbury show?
Murder,
All
She
of the
Wrote?
shows yes, Murder She Wrote. All the shows are geared towards an older generation, and they were
The Price is
was
Right.
The Tiffany, yes, the Tiffany Network, wasn't that what they were called?
I believe so.
But they did not pay attention to what was coming, Gen Z, and what they like and what they're doing. So now they're trying to go, oh, wait a minute, the older watchers are not there anymore because of age or whatever, and we need more people to watch because advertisers want numbers, eyeballs. So we trying to get these Gen Zs to watch us, and they're like, well, I'm watching it on YouTube. Whatever I want is on YouTube, Tubi, Netflix, blah blah blah. Name your thing, and I watch it here. I don't watch it on TV. So the networks know they're in trouble. They know that. They've known it for a long time. They're not doing the things they need to do. And Mark says the debate format also needs to change, respond to the conflict in the Middle East in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, really. We feed people's ADD and get not real information. See, that's because they're trying to get the quick buck, the quick dollar. That it's all about the ad dollars. The stories that we hear or you see on the nightly news or mainstream media are designed by producers to get the most eyeballs. One of my friends, you said, if it bleeds, it leads at the 11 o'clock news. If it bleeds, it leads. Why? Eyeballs, money.
And Mark is correct. If they're going to continue to do this, which in my opinion, I don't know, but if they're going to continue to do this, they need to lessen the amount of topics that they cover because they had way too many topics for the time that was allotted. If they say, oh, we have a lot more stuff to cover, well, then that means you don't have time. Pick 3 and move on. So they need to I agree, they need to restructure it so that you can fully do that. And then guess what? If you have time, bonus question, we have this. And then I think another good thing, I really like town halls.
Town halls are better.
Like town halls. Those are
I agree
better
with you
because it's coming from the people. You can have journalists there to help moderate and lead, but town halls are way better. And I think traditionally it feels like candidates have done better with town halls in a sense than with these, or it could just be the candidates themselves. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. Town halls, that's the way to go with it. But
these people.
The debate should be on Family Feud or Hollywood Square. Sarah Palin in the center square.
So, I mean, and we're laughing about the Family Feud, Hollywood Square as entertainment, but that's where it is. That's where news is. News is no longer. We mentioned that Edward Murrow and Walter Cronkite and Tom Brook, where news was news, and I think what Mark was about being placed under the news. The news divisions of the networks are placed under the entertainment umbrella. Why is that?
Money.
Because entertainment don't have to tell the truth.
Money.
That too.
Yes.
Nobody is faulting. These are businesses. Media industry is a business. Nobody is faulting people for wanting to do that. I think there is, again, a dichotomy that you have to look at where it comes from informing the public and keeping the public informed and educated and still making money. There has to be some sort of middle ground. The problem is it has skewed more of the way of making money to the chagrin of everybody of journalism itself.
You're right. So mainstream media has to survive on a money making machine. Whereas, thank goodness, we have independent journalists and we have platforms like Substack and other things where independent journalists who are credible and know how to get a story out and know how to get the news out. They are building communities online and able to make money. Mainstream media is the one that's grasping and dying, but trying to keep the money going because that makes them go when the crowd that watches TV is older and passing on. Gen Z is they're thinking Gen Z needs to watch TV. No, they're not watching TV. They're doing other things. So you need to go to where they are because there's money to be made there. Fred says if the debates were virtual, split screens where the mods can control better and virtual fact check on a ticker. That's a good idea.
It is. The only thing is, if you did it virtually, then they would have to change the rules of the debate. You know, at this time, they couldn't come in with anything other than themselves,
Right.
Basically, and some paper and a pen, which was probably provided to them. That would be difficult to monitor, although you could, but you'd have to look at the rules of the debate if
And
that
here's
was the case.
a funny thing you're saying about the paper and pen. I think I saw it online. They were saying people were asking why Tim Walz was writing something down.
That's what you do in debate. See, that's another thing. You're right. Why is he writing so much? Because I'm a debater. I was on the debate team in high school. That's what you do. You write down things so that you can keep track of what you need to go to next. This is not a play. You can use your notes. That's what debaters do. And so I was glad to see him. I was like, yes, that's what you do.
Right, but why were people going, why is he writing down? That's very suspect.
Because they don't know the rules of debate. You are given in debate, you don't come, well, it depends on the style debate. We were allowed to come in with stuff on that debate. In this debate, they were not allowed to come in. When
I hear stuff like that from people online, I'm like, the education system is I know it's not working. It's failing. The system is failing. Why would you ask, why is somebody writing something down? Like that was some alien thing that they had never heard of before. Ooh,
people who can't read or write
say
that. Anyway.
Yes, that was my point.
And Mark was a debater as well. Somehow I figured that. Wow. So in any case, I really wanted to just know what you all thought about that and wanted to give you the ratings. Again, 43.15 million viewers turned in across 15 cable broadcasting cable networks. And according to Nielsen, they voters overwhelmingly categorize the debate as positive in tone. And this is according to a CBS News poll. So, and this is what we were all saying, that it was basically positive. So this is in contrast to the 2020 debate where 57.9 million watched. So it's down, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I watched any in 2020. I don't think I watched.
In 2020, yeah, you didn't watch Kamala Harris and Mike Pence?
No, I just know sound bites. The Fly, I know about The Fly on his head.
Lord of the Flies. Yes, exactly. And see, those are the things that stick out. And this is why I'm saying all of this is pure entertainment and pure. And honestly, I think that's probably what cinched it. That's why.
Yeah. And Fred says, "What did you watch the debate on?" I normally watch on the iPad or the stream. I ain't go to YouTube for everything now.
Right. We were watching. Well, again, technically, I was watching through StreamYard because I was on a panel.
Yeah, you were on the panel.
Dr. Vibe was showing it through the CBS YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, if through the browser, like, if it streams through the browser page, you can just bring it in the StreamYard. Yeah,
right. So he brought it in from their YouTube channel. So that's how we were watching it. But it goes to show that when you look at the numbers of people who are watching it on YouTube and if you added all of that up,
right,
I'm quite sure it would come very close to, if not surpass, what broadcast and cable were able to do.
Right.
So you'd have to add everything up because Nielsen doesn't do that. So if you just look across devices and things, it's very interesting. And Nielsen, they're starting to do some more measurement in terms of that, but they need to get better because this is the area we're in. And I know it's not easy to do. So people want to do what's easy.
And I mean, this is off track a little bit, but speaking of the debate, my thing is, I would like, because they always talk about the undecided voter. I always want to ask them, why are they undecided? Like, is anybody asking that question of them?
They're not undecided. They just don't want to admit who they're voting for.
Thank you.
I don't buy the undecided thing.
I don't either. That was my point. And I'm like, is anybody, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it's on TV somewhere, but did they do an interview with the undecided voters? and like, excuse me, sir, I would say, like, why are you still undecided? Like, I want to be direct like that, because I'm like, I want to know. Fred says, I wonder what the number streaming platform for the debate. I watch PBS NewsHour YouTube. Yeah, I watch PBS NewsHour too.
I do too, because they don't have like the commentary usually.
Right,
so,
right.
Although I like commentary, like if I'm watching MSNBC, I like to hear what they say.
And Mark says the debate would have been better had it ended with a dance number, like
and then,
what is it? Dancing with the Stars.
And then Fred said, no, a slap contest. So the white guy shuffle. Though this would have been, it's very interesting. I want to see how they proceed in future with these types of things. I don't know how you all feel. I don't know that a vice presidential debate is necessary, because your job does not necessitate that I know precisely what your job is, to be the sidekick to the president. So I don't need to know.
Hold everything. Don't try nothing.
You're the tiebreaker in the Senate. That's pretty much it.
When the presidential candidate is suffering from dementia and could be potentially declared 5150 once he's elected, and the vice president has to take his place, I want to know if that vice president is wearing mascara or not.
That's the plan.
Yes, absolutely. But there are plenty of opportunities that we have to see them outside of the vice presidential debate, because this does not really serve any purpose. So I don't know if to hold us there for debate by the way, 1.5 hours. There's not a whole heck of a lot that you can learn from a person in I know more about Pence and Walz from the campaigning, the news coverage, and everything than I found out about them. We already knew one side is snake oil salesman. Right. So we already knew that. Okay.
So and you have to realize that if the person running for vice president is backed by these multi-billionaire people, you have to ask yourself why. Why is JD Vance on the stage? Why is he there? Who's his backers? Ask yourself why. Put that together with what Carolina just said, and there's your answer.
So Mark says that he thinks a VP debate is necessary when your candidate is 80. And so that is an interesting point. That is an interesting point. However, and I really don't want to get into the politics of it. The fact that JD Vance said that he's 40, right? That alone should be very scary to people. Not that a 40-year-old cannot adequately lead, because obviously Obama was in his 40s when however, there's another whole thing there with that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was interesting that he got to introduce himself to America, and we need to know that he came from a dysfunctional family.
Yeah, you need to know those things.
Because, if you put a slave in charge of a country, you're going to get a slave mentality. You get somebody who's impoverished all their life and never learned how to operate in prosperity. Where's the country going?
Thank you.
Where's
you know what?
Bar?
You need to write that down, Carolina. That is it. Like you said, when you get somebody that's enslaved that runs a country, they only have the mentality of an enslaved individual. And despite whatever, he went to Yale or whatever, that's notwithstanding, because
but his mom was a crackhead and his grandmother was impoverished.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Sorry.
The mother stole. She was a nurse that stole drugs to feed her.
She was a nurse, Jackie. Okay, never mind.
So there's integrity built into that family.
Go ahead.
So I was thinking about something. I think I lost my train train of thought. But it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'll pick it back up in a minute, but
Okay.
that was like,
And my point real quick is that we're not saying one is perfect. It's just looking at two things which
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Before you lose
now
it,
I
go ahead.
remember. It's them 40 years old that turned off the lights on Blab with no
Yeah.
Right. Because
No
again,
notice.
no notice.
and no home training, no sense of
No
I
regard
need to,
for yeah.
there was no wisdom in that. So when you're 40 years old, I'm like, I don't know.
I'm just saying personally, I don't look at what you're telling me. You're standing in front of me telling me something. I look at who's behind you. What's behind you? Who is that the judge that said don't pee on my head and tell me it's raining? I always think of that. Judge Judy. I think she said that.
Mark says, I was always intimidated by Ivy League grads until I started training a lot of them. Don't be fooled. Sometimes it's just money, opportunity, and endurance, not intelligence.
Well, and
Exactly.
here's the thing. The hardest thing about Ivy Leagues is getting into them usually because it's a selective. They're trying to be selective. But once you're there, please don't be fooled. I would hold up students from any other university against Ivy League grads because there's a lot of facade around these Yales, the Harvards, the Browns, the Cornells.
Legacy, right?
It's legacy and facade. So
Isn't
we have put them.
Newsom just came out against the legacy things. The
300 years of
admissions.
affirmative action for white folks.
That
called legacy.
That's exactly what it is, and that doesn't mean that. I mean, look at your 45. That your former whatever he is. He went to University of Pennsylvania, right? Wharton School. That doesn't mean he did. That doesn't mean he is brilliant at all. That just means somebody's family had connections enough to get him in.
Didn't it just come out that somebody took his admissions test?
Yeah, that somebody took the test.
They probably took all his courses too.
Exactly. So here's the thing: where there's money, and it's the same thing with. Remember the whole case with what's her name from
with them paying to get into these places with these fake resumes.
Right. But the actress that was on Full House, I can't remember her name.
Lori
Loughlin. Lori
Yeah.
Loughlin, right? And her husband is Massimo, the Massimo in Target, which is why I will not buy Massimo from Target. But the fact that they had, fake photos for the admissions and all of it was a whole scheme. And this is what, and not everybody, but this is what many people of means with money do. I shouldn't even say many, some. The opportunity is there for many to do. Some people do it because the expectations of people with money is very high. You have everything. Why the heck can't you do this? So there's a lot of pressure and the expectations are high, and they use their influence and their money to get what they want. So also, you don't even have to meet that expectation because all that's expected of these individuals is to be mediocre. In fact, if I was one of these individuals, I would be livid that all you expect of me is this, to lie and cheat my way into institutions because I don't have the smarts or the integrity to do anything else. I would be livid if that's what you think. Now, whether or not that's the case with some of these people, it actually is. So I absolutely do not put Ivy Leagues on a pedestal. I put HBCUs on a pedestal, absolutely, because you have to make a way out of no way.
Yeah,
all the time. So I always look at like I've taught at all sorts of institutions. By and large, the HBCU students, obviously not everybody is a brilliant Fulbright scholar, but there's brilliance there because you have to make a way out of no way sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it must be valid because statistics show that people, regardless of what university you go to, make within 5% of each other. So you're gonna pay extra for Stanford and Harvard and Yale if you want to.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, let's be clear on what these things mean. To me, academically, I'm not impressed. However, they have a network, and that's really honestly what college is about, forming a network. And you can do that at any school, basically.
True.
So-
It's not a measure of intelligence.
At all, because never mind. I'll be nice today.
Okay.
Let me go on from this. I just want to know your thoughts on
All right.
the debate. So let's move on. Of course, we know earlier this week we found out that John Amos of Good Times fame
Yeah.
passed away.
Mhm.
Also,
Mhm.
Coming to America, many other things. He had so many roles, but this is one thing that people did not know. Now, we know we got word earlier this week that he passed, but we did not know that he passed like in August. Did you all know that?
I did. I just found that out. Yep.
I did not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, he passed away in August. So apparently it was his final wish to delay the announcement of his passing to avoid his daughter turning it into a circus. So this is the interesting thing, because somebody said, first of all, I didn't know he had a daughter. I knew about the son because I would always see them do things together on social media. So I had no clue that he had a daughter. But then somebody said, yeah, he actually passed on, and like August 21st or something like that. And the daughter said, I found out about it when you all found out about it. I'm like, well, what's that about? This is a deeper thing than what we know if the daughter's just finding out. I'm like, and I'm like, are they not as close? I said, because I always see him and the son, but I didn't know he had a daughter.
I think there was something about between the daughter and the son, like the daughter came out and said the son was controlling John and not letting her have access, and then it was like a lot of finger pointing, like, no, you're controlling, so I think it was like that, like trying to get control of him and his assets or whatever, and one was keeping the other from the other, and I think that's what it was.
Fred said, "Whoo, the daughter." Yes, the daughter tried to
right.
Yeah, there was that back and forth about
in a hospital care and
power of attorney. That was it. Power of attorney. That's what was
right. So the Belinda Foster was his publicist and said, I represented John Amos for over 30 years as his publicist of record. The media knows this along with John's agencies of record. Over the years, we grew close to one another to the point of a familial relationship. In the last few years, he often referred to me as his daughter. This was not a fraud by John, Casey, or myself. He was like a father to me. I deeply mourn his passing. And Shannon, who is the daughter, Shannon's claims that John was abused are false. Casey, Eugene, and I, along with numerous others, cared for him. On several occasions, when Shannon claimed he was abused, law enforcement authorities sat with John and confirmed his well-being. So this is something very interesting, that it was August 21st and he passed away of congestive heart failure in Inglewood, California. So rest well. It's always this is the thing about people passing. There's always something. There's never been one. There's always somebody contesting something. Something is always wrong.
Yeah. Somebody trying to get control of this versus that, and they said this, and they put their narrative out, and then the other side put. So you're like, who do you believe?
See, this is why John Lagerfeld left everything to his cat. He did.
And Leona Helmsley left up to her dog.
Sure did. So we will miss you.
John, yes.
Good
Times is always there. Like Fred said, he watched it. Good Times is playing somewhere right now.
You can always catch Good Time. And then, the interesting thing is when, that same week, they always play Coming to America on television, but the same week that James Earl Jones passed, of course, they had some movies, and Coming to America was one of them. So now it's, kind of sad that within like a few weeks of each other, 2 cast members of Coming to America have passed away. So rest well, and peace and love to his family. All right, I've got to tell you this. I don't want to take too much more time, but because we spent a lot of time on the debate. But there is remember, I don't know what it is with investigation discovery. Yes, I do. Money and ratings. So
That's the answer.
That's the answer. I answered my own query.
I answered my own query.
So, as you know, remember last week we talked about Investigation Discovery doing another documentary on, oh gosh,
The
why did it leave me
Menendez?
now? No, not the Menendez.
Oh.
Why did it leave my head just now?
P. Diddy?
Diddy, thank you. Yes. Doing the documentary on Diddy. Well, that is not enough, apparently, because now Investigation Discovery is doing they have a campaign called No Excuse for Abuse.
Mhm.
And they're doing a documentary set on Chris Brown.
What?
So he is the subject of Investigation Discovery's documentary Chris Brown, A History of Violence, and is going to launch they have a network campaign, as I said, called No Excuse for Abuse. So I don't know if there are more documentaries in the same strain that they're going to be showing, but this is going to come out on October 27th. And it is, again, the ever since Quiet on the Set came out, about the kids.
Yes, the Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon, right. Ever since that came out, they've been on a roll with these things. So yes, there's one coming out about Chris Brown. So after the premiere of this documentary, The View's Sunny Hostin is going to lead a discussion with experts and advocates on intimate partner violence for ID's audience. Hostin said this in a statement: "Domestic violence is a very close personal issue to me as I reflect on my past as a prosecutor of these types of cases and in my role as a mother and public figure whose actions inform and help shape the next generation." So the doc was produced by Ample Entertainment, and it follows the recent arrest and criminal charges brought against fellow rapper Sean Diddy Combs, right? So I don't know how that's connected, but that's what that's
how is it connected?
I don't
they're
know.
both in the entertainment industry.
I have no clue. I guess we'll see. So it's supposed to have, this is what they say, expert and cultural commentary layered throughout the documentary that provides thoughtful reflections into each survivor's experience and the psychological destruction in the aftermath of their abuse.
Okay,
they're giving us too much on time.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so I see what they're trying to say now. They're saying that this is following the arrest, not that the documentary is going to follow the arrest. That was bad verbiage on their end. So not that this documentary will follow the arrest, but that this documentary is coming after the arrest of. So
can I say who asked for this?
We can today on Who Asked for This. The P. Diddy documentary and Chris Brown speaks. Nobody asked for this.
I didn't ask for it.
I didn't either.
Fred, we got to put up what Fred said here. $signs. There you go.
That's going to be the answer for everything.
It's not even words. It's just $sign.
So now, Quiet on the Set does a lot for notoriety for you all, make some bucks for you, and now you feel you now just have to go on a true crime spree when it comes to these things. So this is the interesting thing. I bet they wish that they could do this lickety split for the Diddy documentary.
Yep.
I bet they wish.
You know
It
they
won't come
do.
out until next year, but I bet they
You
will.
know it. It needs to come out now while the story's hot, but it'll brew back up when when it goes to court. It'll really be turn the fire up and the water's boiling, and I guess they'll have it ready by then.
I guess so. But in the grand scheme of things, these documentaries don't do anything when it comes to justice of for these things or eradicated these things. They simply show what is. And I suppose there's room in the space for that. But these things continue. These things continue to happen. We should not have to continue to make documentaries off of things like this if we are proactive at the beginning of these things. Who am I, though? But anyway, we're at 138. There's so many more stories, but I'm going to leave it here because, hey, can I share something?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to share my screen, but first I'll tell you we are doing Mediascope After Dark tonight.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
yes, I did not have time to come on Wednesday and do it. So I asked the audience, what would you prefer for me to come on Thursday and do a normal pop-up because I couldn't
Right.
do it Wednesday? Or do you want to do like we did last week and do After Dark? Everybody said After Dark.
After
So
dark.
tonight at 10 p.m., if you're around, you can come and
I'll
watch.
be around.
Yes, come and watch Mediascope After
I
Dark.
will.
It's also an Ask Me Anything. So if you have any questions about cameras, about sound, about lighting, and that type of thing, we'll talk about all of those types of things in addition to some stories. So the stories we couldn't get to here, we may not be able to get to them there
I
either
like
because
that idea. After dark.
yeah.
Yay. We got a comment. Mark said, I'm doing the tell-all behind the scenes business expose. All of the backstage conflicts, secrets, and etc. Stay tuned.
Ooh.
And then Fred gonna jump in and
Said,
air it on Indie Soup.
yup.
You know what?
There you
I'm
go.
not mad at it. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm not
mad
mad at it either.
Not mad at it.
Somebody ought to make money besides the fools that be. Let me I'm going to share with you this as
Okay.
well. Can you all see this?
Yes,
No.
we see it down there, but it has.
Yeah, you gotta put it on the screen.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, you see it now? So for those of you that are into live streaming, we have a special guest. Dr. Vibe and I are doing a mashup episode. So it's going to be the Dr. Vibe show and Mediascope on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, all things live streaming. And if you don't know who Kirk Nugent is, get to know who he is. He is a straight expert. Like all this stuff that came out about StreamYard and the price increase, he knew before everyone. And yeah, so
okay.
follow him on YouTube. He is brilliant if you need to know that, and especially now for those people that are looking for alternatives to StreamYard or anything, take a look at him. So we're going to have a conversation with him on Monday, and you can find it. It will be on Indie Soup. It will be on my channels. It will be on Dr. Vibe's channels. So you can find it everywhere. So just wanted to share that with you all.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank
I'm
you.
there.
Yay. This is good. And so was that the final thing, Dr. Tachi?
Yeah. I'm not going to belabor the show anymore.
All
No,
right.
I want to say real quick, if you search for Kirk Nugent, right? You scroll through, you can see the show that Dr. Tachi is talking about, and you can turn your notification on so you get notified and you don't forget. Because I'll forget. So I hurry up and hit the notification.
Yay.
I'm like, I forgot.
All right.
There you
and
go.
So if you want to become a part of the Biz Chicks community, you can do that by texting biz to 33777 or just go to bizchicks.net. We are here every week, Monday through Friday. Friday, we talk like this conversation. If you're enjoying this, we are here every Friday talking it up about things that matter to you. So come on back and put your questions in the chat so we can answer those the next time around, whether it's social media, or tech, or things happening in the world today. We just want to be here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle so that you can build a profitable business that is fun to run. And we will see you next week.
Before
Remember?
you go, Mark has his 4-minute mark thing up there.
Oh, yes.
Cool. Okay, so Mark has got the 4-minute Mark podcast about the pain body. Don't know what it is. Listen and find out. It might be influencing
Ooh.
your behavior wherever you get
thing.
your podcasts.
Let me go over and check that out.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. First Monday is coming up. You should get something in your email. So talking to you soon. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.